Hi, welcome to Algebra 1. I thought I would make some short videos for you so that the first week before we actually have Compass on the 6th, you would know what the expectations are for Algebra 1. And I'm going to try to make videos for each day up until we actually meet for class. So you can go on the syllabus and you'll be able to click on the links on the syllabus to see the videos. So let's go through some course expectations. So for this course, we're going to be using the Saxon Algebra 1 textbook, the 3rd edition. If you have the 2nd edition, that will work. The only advantage for the 3rd edition is beside the problem numbers, in your homework, it tells you what lesson the problem comes from. That's not in the 2nd edition, but you'll be fine if you have the 2nd edition. We're going to go quickly through the book, so I would feel fine if you put Honors Algebra 1 on your transcript. My little pointer thing. At times we might be deviating from the textbook to emphasize certain topics that I don't think Saxon covers adequately, but we're mostly going to stick right to the textbook this year. There's a syllabus. I hope you found that. I sent it to your parents. I'll put a link to it on the geometry or the Algebra 1 discussion board, so you can always find it. But on the syllabus, it will tell you what lessons you do each day, and if there's a video, it will be highlighted and you can click on it and watch the video. My videos aren't that exciting, so don't get too excited about that. Class time this year is going to be very limited. 1 hour is not really enough time, so we have to be very efficient in our class. So class starts at 3:15, so try to be there as soon as possible, 3:05 if possible. Bring a sharpened pencil, a notebook, and a folder to hold the handouts and return quizzes and tests. I will be giving you handouts each week to take notes on, so you're going to need a place to put all those and the quizzes and tests. We're going to begin the procedure for the classes. We will begin each class by going over the homework after I've checked that it's been done, and all homework assignments, as I was saying earlier, is posted on the syllabus. I don't think we'll have any behavior problems, but I expect you to be very attentive and respectful. If we go off on another topic, sometimes that happens with me, I expect you to come back into the topic area quickly without me needing to direct you too much. So if we have problems, I'll talk to your parents, and I'll talk to you first, of course. All right, grading, homework. There's a significant amount of homework. I don't think it's that significant. The good thing about math class is there's homework every day. It's not like there's 2 writing assignments a week and you can get them in whenever you feel like it. In math, there's 1 lesson a day, and I really recommend you do 1 lesson per day, not 2 or more a day. So you want to do 1 lesson per day. Don't squeeze them all in at the end of the week like some of my students have. You're just not going to learn as much, and you're not going to do a very good job with it. I'm assigning the odd problems for Algebra 1, and the reason for that is the answers are all in the back of your book. Now, in the past, your parents might have kept the answer book away from you because they didn't want you just to write down the answers. But I'm gonna teach you how to use the answers to help you learn math, because when you're in college, your teachers might not teach you as much detail as I'm going to teach, and you're going to have to be a self-teacher. So I'm going to teach you how to be a self-teacher. This is how I want you to do your homework. I recommend doing a problem, so you do problem number 1. Go to the back of the book, check to see if it's correct. If it's not correct, if it is correct, put a check by it. Let me go back and get a pencil here. Try to not make this video too long, but it is your first one, so it's probably okay. All right, so after you do a problem, you're going to do number 1. You write number 1, and hopefully you're watching the video on how to do homework. That is a very old video. Someday I'm going to have to make a new one. That was when my son was in 8th grade, and now he is 27, so you can see how old it is. So you want to do your problem, you want to write down your answer. Got an answer of 3, you look in the back of the book, the answer is 3, so you put a check beside it. If you do the next problem and you write the answer is 5, and you look in the back of the book and it is not 5, You want to go back and retry the problem so that just in case you made a silly mistake, you can correct it. If you really don't know how to do the problem, we'll go over the problem in class. But try it a couple times to see if you can get it. If you can't get it, put an X. And then at the top of your page, start writing the numbers that you want me to do in class. Like write number 3 at the top of your page. So you would have all this at the top of your page. So when we come in, it's really easy for you to see which ones you missed. Please don't think that you're going to get by just writing down the answers in the back of the book. People have tried it. There should be a lot of work. Not in the very beginning, but as we go through, you're going to find that you run through lots of notebooks because I want you to show every step of your problems. So if I suspect that in any way that you're cheating, I will talk to your parents. I'm pretty good at sniffing that out. So make sure you show all your work. The back of the book isn't to help you get your homework done faster, it's just to aid you in learning the content better. We will try to have weekly quizzes. I usually do really well with this in the beginning of the year, and then by the second half of the year we don't have them because the material gets more, it takes me longer to teach, so I don't have as much time in the classes to give the quizzes. And once a month I'm not going to email to you, I will give you a take-home test, and they will be taken under the supervision of your parents. You'll be taking it in one sitting without the use of textbooks or notebooks. Later on, not right now, but a calculator can be used. I'll let you know. It's after the first test. So the first test is without a calculator, and then after that you can use a calculator. Your parent will need to sign your test so that they can say that they watched you take the test. There will be a midterm and a final. They'll both be in class. Next, I will keep a grade book for each of you. You'll each get a link to your own personal grade web page. It will be private. No one else will be able to see it but you and your parents. It's kind of like your report card. You'll be able to see it at any time. After I grade a quiz or a test, I'll put it on the grade sheet. You can bookmark it because it is a web page, so you can check your grades whenever you want. If you miss a class, you're responsible for keeping up with the classwork. You can email me for questions or whatever that is. And you need to do your homework if you're not in class. I'll check it the following week when you come. So despite this long list of expectations, I'm really looking forward to teaching Algebra 1 this year. The last few years have been so much fun, and I'm expecting you to do just as well. So we're going to jump right in to our first lesson. And this is what a typical video will look like. It's going to, I'll have a little lesson page. This is what you're going to get in class. You're going to get something, your notes will have a lesson, the examples on it, and then you can just fill them in class. So we only have 2 examples in lesson 1 because I think it's a total review for you. You're just adding fractions and figuring out these line segments, the missing parts. So we'll go rather quickly on this, and then I'm going to end the video, and you can get working on your lesson. So we're going to add these 3 fractions. I'm going to teach you, you can do it however you want, but I'm going to teach you the algebraic method of adding fractions. Now, the algebraic method is we draw one long line. I don't think Saxon does it like this, so you can do it however you want. This is how I think it's best to be done so that we're ready to do the algebraic fractions. So when you're adding fractions, your denominators all have to be the same in order to add your fractions. So you have to make them the same. We do that by finding the lowest common denominator. So we'll find the LCD. We find the number that 11, 6, and 33 will all go into, and that is 66. That's your lowest common denominator. So I'm going to put this in the denominator. Then we have to see what we take each of the individual denominators by to get 66, and we multiply the top and the bottom by that number. So 11 times 6 gives you 66, so we're going to take 10 times 6 in the numerator. We're multiplying by 6 over 6. It's called a unit multiplier because we're not changing the value of the fraction because we're multiplying it by 1. 6 over 6 is 1. So in the numerator, I'm just going to put this on the big fraction. I think that's the difference for the algebraic method, is we're just going to use one fraction to put everything above. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the 6. What times 6 gives you 66? Well, it's going to be 10. So 10, oops, where did I get 10? It's going to be 11. So we're going to put 11, and then we're going to multiply the numerator by 11. We're multiplying the numerator and denominator both by 11, which is the same thing as multiplying by 1, so it doesn't change the value of the fraction. So up here I'm going to put minus 55, and we have one more fraction. So 3 times 22 gives you 66, so I'm going to take 1 times 22, and we get 22. And then we simply add the numbers across the top. 60 minus 55 is 50, plus 22 is 27 over 66. And then finally you're going to reduce. Reducing is finding the number that goes into both of these numbers. So the number that goes into both of those are 3. So I'm going to take 27 divided by 3 and get 9. 66 divided by 3 is 22. And that is how we do a problem. Typically, I would encourage you to circle your answers, box your answers, or whatever. So that one is correct, so we put a little check by it and we move on to the next one. All right, this one we have segment AC measures 10 and 1/4 unit. So I'm going to just fill this in right here. So this would be 10 and 1/4 units. And AB is 4 3/7 units. And we are to find BC. The way that we would do this is we're going to subtract. We're going to say 10 and 1/4 minus 4 3/7. That will give you the missing part. We're cutting this out of this, and this is the only thing that's left. So when you're doing the subtraction problem, you can either change it into improper fractions because these are mixed numbers. I'm going to do the vertical method. I like this method. So 1/4, I'm not going to do the algebraic one because it is mixed numbers. And we need to, oops, I copied that wrong, 7. All right, we need to find a common denominator, which is 28. I'm just going to do it this way. And we're going to take 4 times 7 here, so we have to take times the 7 there. We're multiplying by 1, doesn't change the value. 7 times 4, 3 times 4, so we're going to get 12. This one's a little complicated, isn't it? You can't take 12 from 7, so we need to borrow 1 from the 10. So we're going to borrow 1. We're going to borrow a 28 over a 28 because that's the same thing as 1, and it has the denominator of 28. So that's going to give us 35 over 28. Now we have enough to subtract. So 35 minus 12 is 23 28ths, and 9 minus 4 is going to be 5. So our final answer is 5 and 23 28ths. It's not reducible, and if it has units in the problem, usually it would have like centimeters, feet, or whatever. You need to have units in your answer. So since this only has units, we're just going to put units as our unit. And that is the correct answer, so we would circle it and box it. So that is it for lesson 1. I'm going to try to get videos for the rest of the lessons. This is probably the shortest, this is definitely the shortest lesson of the week. So hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow.